Hey Abigate, I hope you're doing really well. My name is Joshua Trigwell. Thank you, Mr. Bernard, for asking me to come on and to share some advice. Hopefully, you take at least one or two things away from this video that will help kind of give you some reassurance or kind of give you some tips that you can kind of look into later this year or whatever. If not, then I've done a terrible job in this video. I'll crack straight into it. Firstly, I'm an online running coach. So I provide training plans for people all across the world who want to accomplish certain running goals. This could be from a 5K distance all the way to ultramarathon distance. It is possibly one of the most, if not the most rewarding job I've ever done in my entire life. Getting to know people's backstories, getting to inspire people, getting to motivate people, getting to see them break through their self-created limitations. It is absolutely massive, and to be a part of that is incredible. The smile on their face grows, and obviously ultimately they go on to achieve the goal they want to set, and it just brings them so much self-confidence in their ability, which then flourishes into other parts of their life. It is truly that rewarding. And I think my first tip there is, if you're someone who's thinking about going down the personal training route, my first advice would be look at the online training platform. If you're going to be a PT just in a gym, then you are completely, suffocating yourself to, like, say, a 5-mile circumference. You're only accessing 5 miles of people who live in that area. Whereas, if you're on an online platform, your access is limitless. It's around the world. And people, depending on, the way you get yourself across, your philosophy across, you're going to work with people and be with people who are going to buy into philosophy far more. And obviously the internet is providing this platform, so utilize it on a massive scale. And through that, you get to work with people who you want to work with, who are buying into everything you want to talk about, and just, it is honestly, like, incredible. So that's my first bit of advice. If you're kind of going down the PT route, online is probably the way forward, especially for the future as well. I'm also an educator in the sports department mainly. But I also work with kids who have ASD, which is basically autism, and kids who need to be taken in the classroom for bad behaviour reasons. And what I do is kind of work them on a one-to-one scale, put together like physical training programs, and also academic plans, and kind of drip feed them back into the classroom. I work in all-boys private school, so I work from years 4 to 6 mainly, sometimes year 3, but mainly 4 to 6. And it's my job and responsibility that, I slowly progress this child academically through a one-to-one scale. So by the time they kind of reach year 6, they are back in line with what they should be hitting on their scores, academic scores, and also starting to flourish in the sporting field as well. So by the time they go into secondary school, they're well suited then to be back in the classroom and have got the tools that I've taught them to be able to do very well. And I kind of hope that through maturity and age, they still use those skills and obviously, keep progressing essentially. On top of that, I'm the joint head coach of the sports scholarship program at the school. There are a lot of parents in the school I work at who want their child to get sports scholarship. So we go through rigorous assessments in year 6 kids, put them through endurance test, strength test, and speed tests, and choose the top percent, which is normally about 8 boys essentially, as it's an all-boys school. And we kind of give them individualized training programs that essentially get them ready for trial day at all the secondary schools. We work on 3 pillars, fitness, speed, and strength. And we use that as kind of the foundation where we know we can get them to. And then it's about the coach in secondary school who specialise in the sport that they want to take that child in, and allow that child to upgrade and keep progressing into adulthood. So we spend a lot of our time, 3 days a week, 3 mornings a week, putting a lot of effort into working on a child's different areas. If it's the endurance side he's working on, the speed side he's working on, and really trying to get the most out of it. So by the time, like I said, comes around, they are superb, and ready to really attack and just display how good they are. So I do a lot of that. On a personal level, I'm a 7-time national finalist in athletics, so from 1500 to 5K. I have big aspirations to kind of go into the Olympics or Commonwealth Games. Even at 27 years old, I'm still very much and destined or kind of ready to kind of reach those goals. In terms of giving you guys advice in the sport career area, my advice for you is throw yourself in the deep end and get as much hands-on experience as possible. Sometimes that involves free work, which I know probably at your age you want to get out and start earning money, but experience is incredible and you just need it. I threw myself into placement areas where, sometimes I've left with kids, 36 kids in one classroom. And there's so many pair of eyes on you, and your palms are sweaty. Your heart's absolutely racing, and you're struggling to kind of process the words that are in your head out to the classroom, and it's the nerves and the anticipation of going into the classroom, having to control a whole class. And it can be quite intimidating, and so it takes time to kind of adapt to that. And so, as Mr. Bernard probably knows, now I'm sure he's an amazing teacher, but he can easily articulate, as well as me, very very easily articulate myself, what I'm thinking, and get my philosophy across to the kids very very easy, because I've put myself in situations and given myself so much experience that now I'm never fazed by a classroom. And that takes experience, that takes placement, that takes putting yourself in the deep zone quite a lot to get there. So I think that'd be my first area to kind of really really work on. Secondly, you're gonna make mistakes in the educational sector, or just in general, kind of getting knowledge up. Accept it and obviously learn from it. It's part of the process. You're never going to be Mr. or Mrs. Perfect when you first start in this area. You're always going to be at the very bottom of the chain. So it's about kind of working towards it, and with every experience you gain, it's going to help you towards the end goal. And what I find a lot of the time is that often at university, a lot of the people who were very good at the kind of theory side often weren't always the best practitioners. And the reason why is because a lot of the time, when it comes down to it, it's about being able to articulate what's in your head out to the children. And the children have got to buy into it, or say if you're a PT, the client's got to buy into what you're saying. And that comes from social skills. That comes from being able to get across what you're trying to say really, really well. And often, on top of that, it's the behaviour management, not from a client perspective, but from a kid's perspective. And it's also about, getting to know every individual in the classroom. It's about getting to know, the client. That's going to be the game changer for you. So I hope that's helpful. Again, the three things is throw yourself in the deep end with experience and placement. Accept you're going to make mistakes along the way, and that's just part of it. You just got to learn from it. I've made plenty of mistakes. And thirdly is allowing people to kind of buy into your philosophy, kind of being able to articulate it very, very well. My philosophy is, Mr. Bernard knows, in running terms, is consistency and flow. And I feel like I do a really good job at kind of getting this across. Whereas someone else might be all about intensity and kind of, the quality and the quantity of work. So they've got to be able to really articulate that very, very well. And that will help you in the long term. So by the time you've kind of gone through your A-levels, you've kind of gone through university, you've got so much experience hands-on that, you're ready to kind of throw yourself into the adult world and kind of give it everything. All right, so I hope that's helpful. And yeah, massive good luck for the future, everyone. And hopefully you find something in this video that is helpful to you, that you can obviously buy into and utilize yourself. Thanks, guys.